afternoon and welcome to the August 11th meeting of the Pitt County Department of Social Services Board. I'd like to observe a moment of prayer and, as the board, offer our condolences to our director on the loss of her mother this weekend. So if we'll take our moment. According to Susan May, there are no speakers signed up for public comment, so I would take a motion to adopt today's agenda unless someone has changes.
I so move, Madam Chairman.
And I second.
All right, the agenda has been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
We do have one order of housekeeping we need to take care of, and that is Becky Starkey was reappointed to the board at our last meeting and needs to be sworn in today.
Left hand on the Bible, right hand up. I'm sure. I, Becky Starkey, do solemnly swear, affirm that I will support,
Do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support
and maintain the Constitution of the United States.
and maintain the Constitution of the United States.
I,
I,
Becky Starkey,
Becky Starkey,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will be faithful
that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers
and to the constitutional powers
and authorities
and authorities
which are or may be established
which are or may be established
for the government thereof.
with the government thereof.
And I will endeavor to support,
And I will endeavor to support,
maintain, and defend
maintain, and defend
the Constitution of said state,
the Constitution of said state,
not inconsistent
not inconsistent
with the Constitution of the United States,
with the Constitution of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability.
to the best of my knowledge and ability.
I, Becky Starkey,
I, Becky Starkey,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will and truly execute
that I will
well and truly
truly
execute the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as a member of Pitt County Board of Social Services,
as a member of the Pitt County Board of Social Services,
according to the best of my skill
according to the best of my skill
and ability,
and ability,
according to law,
according to law,
so help me God.
so help me God. Amen.
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 Okay. Next time I want you to memorize that.
Yeah,
I
that's a
will.
long one. That's a long one.
Included in your packet were the minutes from our July board meeting, the meeting held on July 14th. If there are no changes,
I move to approve the minutes as mailed. Mr. Chairman.
is there a second?
I second.
The minutes as presented have been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please let it be known by saying aye. Aye. The next item on our agenda is items for consent. Consent items are of a routine nature. We have a Casey Family Programs parent partner grant receipt for $10,000. There are no county funds involved in that. And then the Dixon House refund of an overpayment, $28,000, no county funds involved in that either. Anything you want to say about those budget amendments?
No.
Any questions from members of the board?
I just want to know, what is the Dixon House?
Yeah.
Okay, the Dixon House is well, actually, I'll let Angela explain that, because she is who was involved with that. It's a state county, it's a assisted living facility, is primarily what that is about. So it's a rest home, and
Yeah,
under
it's,
general circumstances is what folks would know it as, a rest home.
Dixon House is actually located in Grifton, North Carolina, and that was an overpayment that they had made over several years that we were refunded on.
For adults.
Right.
How did we come about getting that?
They had actually This particular client was getting Social Security, and his Social Security had been delayed for several years. So when he finally got his settlement amount, that was to reimburse the county for paying his room and board at Dixon House
While he was
until
waiting.
his Social Security and everything was approved.
I didn't realize that we were involved in something like that.
Yes, we were.
Any more questions?
I
Is there a
moved it be
motion to
approved
adopt?
then, Madam Chairman.
Okay.
And I second the adoption.
Both the budget amendments have been moved and seconded. Thank you for the explanation, Angela. All those in favor, please let it known by saying aye.
Aye.
Next on the agenda, items for report. Northwoods, Margaret Dixon, Tabitha Brady, going to tell us about the status of the project.
Yes. First of all, on behalf of our staff, I want to thank the board for their support for this technology. We are so excited to be getting Northwoods, and so just want to give you an update on where we are moving forward. Northwoods has what they call a coaching model, and this is something that they have used in implementing their rollout for their document management system. And, you know, it's been used in all of the counties that they have worked with. So they have started working with us, and we have identified our coaches. And Northwoods came July the 15th and met with the coaches and the supervisors. And there was a presentation, so everybody got more of an idea about what this document management program is, had the opportunity to ask questions. And our coaching roles are still being defined at this point. We're still in the early phases of our readiness assessment. That's an ongoing process. So as we're looking at implementation and continue to meet with Northwoods, those roles will be more clearly defined moving forward. One of the things that we are excited about is, you know, we have been able to go to other counties and look at what they have done. Lenore County has implemented Northwoods, and they have been fully up and running for approximately 3 months now. So a group of us went there, saw what they're doing, and the coach that they worked with from Northwoods is actually going to be our coach, and we met him when they came in July as well. So that was a really good thing. He's excited about working with us. We've heard a lot of good things about him, so we're excited moving forward with him. We're looking at the adult services coaches going to Beaufort County in the near future, and they're going to look at their program there and how that's been implemented. One of the benefits from going to other counties is to be able to kind of take away some lessons learned so that we are ahead of the game and we can hopefully avoid some of, you know, the downfalls that they may have experienced. So we're excited about that. We've had a lot of positive feedback from Northwoods as far as where we're at in our readiness part. They have told us that in all the counties that they have worked with, North Carolina and other states, we're the only county that has stepped up to the plate and has put this much effort moving forward before they actually came on site to roll out their program. So we are excited about that. They're excited about that. And hopefully, you know, even though we know there's probably going to be some things that, you know, are going to set us back a little bit, we do think that this is going to help for a smoother transition, and hopefully all of our staff, you know, will not have too much turmoil in going through these changes, because changes can sometimes be hard, but our staff is so excited about this. So I think that they're going to take everything in stride and do very well. We have also been fortunate to have Harvey White come on as our all things IT person, and so we're working with him for Northwoods. He's going to be like a liaison going between the implementation process and how that fits with technology with MIS. So he's on board, and he's going to be making some visits to 1 or 2 other counties to talk with their IT people, and hopefully that will help that transition as well. We have a kickoff celebration planned. We're still in the process of finalizing that. We think that this is something that, we want all of our staff to come and see Northwoods firsthand and have a demonstration of what the program is before it's actually rolled out. I think that will go a long way in helping them, to kind of have a framework, from the beginning. And we have also been working on forms. And one of the things that we have to do is there's what's called a taxonomy. And we look at the forms and how we implement that into the program. So we have been going through all of our forms, consolidating where we can, looking at what we can get rid of. So we're in the process of doing that. And another good thing about this is we have already seen a benefit for recruiting. And we have been fortunate to have 2 applicants that were interested in coming to Pitt County. And a large part of that was because of Northwoods and their experience that they have had with Northwoods and other counties. So we're already seeing something really positive for our recruiting process there. Basically, just moving forward, looking at our continuous quality improvement here in Pitt County. This is a process that we all value. We believe in this technology, that it's a big benefit for our staff. And ultimately, we think that, it's going to be a big benefit for the families that we serve, and we're going to see an increase in our outcomes for families in a positive way. And that's our update.
In a very short explanation for the people who are listening to us, what is Northwood? I mean, we had them come here, and I know that, but to kind of refresh everybody so that they will know where we're going.
Northwoods is a document management program that is going to help take us paperless to a degree. We will not be 100% paperless, but probably 90% paperless. It is a program that will allow supervisors and staff access to cases 24/7, and it will increase consistency, and it will save on social worker time. And then they're going to be able to reinvest that time back into the families, and hopefully, front-loading more services and spending more time with them.
You said that they were sending one person here to work with the coaches and so forth.
Okay.
Is that the only one that they're sending? What other personnel will be involved as far as Pitt County is concerned?
They will have a whole team of people that will come. The exact number we don't know yet. Chuck, he's the guy that we met. He is the head person, and he's the one that came and met with us in July. But they're going to have a whole team of people here, and they're going to work with the coaches that we've identified to roll this out. And they will be here in the office observing all of our practices, and they'll be going out in the field with our social workers, seeing, what is it that they're doing with families and how to take this technology and make it work for how we do things in Pitt County, and then what can we do that's going to improve our business practices.
I have one more question. How long do you anticipate, or do they anticipate, before we will be completely involved in this program?
Once they come on site and we begin, they're looking at 4 to 6 months.
So we ought to see a result, we'll say, in about 6 months.
We hope to see everybody fully trained and up and running in 6 months. It will take a little bit longer than that to actually see the results, because once you learn it, you're still having to process, and when you start something, there is a little bit of time before you really start seeing some of the payback to that.
I wasn't going to ask you anything, but one more. People or personnel that you have
Right.
that do not understand, and that do not understand this in 6 months, and you're going to have some whether you like it or not. What do you have for these people to be involved in? I guess that would go back to Jane.
Yeah, that is part of what our coaches do. They will be working with coworkers, supervisors, will be working with their staff as well. And we're looking at, what skills do you need to kind of, improve your technology knowledge. There may be some who might benefit from a typing class, and that's something that we can work with the resources that we have here in Pitt County through MIS to help with that.
That's where I hope you will use Pitt Community College, get them involved to help this personnel, make sure they're up to par. I would appreciate if that would be done.
One of the things that Northwoods has said to us before is that if we do have some folks that have a little trouble, they'll also work extra hard with them to help them understand how this, because some folks, it's foreign to them, and they can
I
help
know it
them
is.
understand how it can help them better do their job. And after a little while, they can kind of buy into,
And one other thing that we're doing, I have talked with one of the state trainers about the coaching model that the state does a training on for all of DSSs, and they are in the process of tweaking that so that it's designed to help with Northwoods, and so they're going to be coming to Pitt County and doing a 2-day coaching with their coaches. And
Yeah,
that's
I
gonna
hope
help
that
too.
you don't let them fall in the cracks, so to speak.
We are
And get
not.
way behind and then depressed and then give up.
Right.
We need to keep them all moving, so to speak.
Right, and we're
Okay.
working towards, everybody is working towards, being caught up and being where they need to be so that when we roll out, it will not be quite as overwhelming. And we do realize there's, always gonna be a group that this is gonna be difficult for.
No, it is.
And we will not leave them behind because, I think they're gonna see it, and from what we're hearing with other counties, the ones that have struggled with technology, they have found that this was a lot easier than they ever thought that it would be. And after a couple of months, they're saying, I don't know how I could go back to anything else. So we're hoping we're going to experience that as well.
Good.
Pam,
Yes.
this will involve all your services units.
Yes.
Is it gonna be rolled out in one unit first and then another unit, or is it gonna be blanket rollout?
They're gonna come in and work with the coaches first and train the coaches
All the
and some,
coaches.
and then some identified people. And then we will move out from there. And what the coaches will do is they will start that training process with their coworkers as well. So it's gonna be kind of like a tiered system, it sounds like. And, so everybody's gonna be involved in this. But ultimately, like Ms. Jan said, they're not gonna leave anybody behind. And, if they need to spend some extra time working with, one staff member, they will do that.
Will it be tied into the financial pieces of social services as well? Will our social workers have access to our income service unit?
Any document that is scanned into the system, the social workers will have access to. We have not worked out as far as like food and nutrition and Medicaid, how that's gonna interact
Okay.
at this point.
Okay.
I have a question. At some point during training, will it be convenient for, if we choose to sit in on a session or something, can that be part of the plan as well?
Yes, ma'am. When Northwoods comes in, we can let Ms. Jan know and she can let everyone know.
as long as, we could probably do something like that as long as it's not looking at client kinds of things. We would not want to get into the confidential kinds of information, but some of the overview kinds of
I'm
things,
interested
certainly.
in the mechanics of it.
Some of that might be
You will
okay.
Getting an invitation to our kickoff.
Yeah, that would be a good
celebration.
example.
So that will be a good time because they're going to do another demonstration of the program, so that will be something good to come to.
The time to do this, a lot of it is at this retreat that we're gonna have in October. We should have gone far enough then to kind of have some problems
be.
that we can
Mary?
better
Well, I'd
understand.
really appreciate being able to come to the kickoff, whatever's a convenient time.
You will definitely be getting an invitation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We can invite the entire board.
That's right. Any other questions?
The scanners are a serious piece to the system. are they included in the cost? That's, because when I saw it, that was one thing that I knew. That's all I wanted to know.
Other questions?
And just so you know, there's 2 handouts that you have that is tied into Northwoods. That was information that was shared to us at our July meeting. So if you want to refer back to that and read up on it.
Oh,
And I'm sure we will have other updates in the future.
in the field laptops, I think that was another, there were 2 pieces of equipment that's important to the system.
This is
That's
it
the
right here.
scanner and the on-the-field.
The iPads.
That's, okay. I didn't want it to come up something you need and you didn't.
The
And your
iPads are
iPads
included.
have the cameras so that you can take the pictures from the field.
It's gonna be like Santa Claus coming
It
to town.
will be. It will be.
It's a good system.
It is. It
That's,
is.
that's true.
Thank
Good
you
work.
Thank
very
you.
much. And we'll look forward to getting our invitation.
Yes.
The next item is item for discussion. In lieu of our normal October 13th meeting at 4 p.m., we are going to use October as our retreat month, so that meeting will be from 1 to 4 p.m. And then I'm going to turn it over to Jan to let us know sort of where she stands on the design and
Right.
layout of that day.
Okay. We will be, assuming everybody is in agreement, we will be at Cooperative Extension, right? We did finalize that, in their big auditorium for the retreat,
As Agriculture Center.
Agriculture Center. We use different language depending on who's talking. And that will allow us to have room to bring in staff if that's what you want to do, that kind of thing. And we had talked about a variety of things at various points, so I know at one point there had been some discussion about maybe spending some time talking about the budget process, that y'all had wanted to do some of that. And we were hoping that by then the legislature will have gone home, right, Dwayne? And so that would be a logical time to talk about what legislation might have done to us and how that might relate to the budget process too. So that could be tied in, some of the legislation piece. Also might be good opportunity to talk some more about, you all have been evaluating yourselves for a whole year now, and talk some about that board evaluation and our board processes, and if there's anything that needs to be changed or done differently. Might also be an opportunity to talk some more about board roles, since we've been at this now for a whole year. And maybe even get Janice to come in and spend some time talking with us. Janice Gallagher as our county attorney, to spend some time talking and helping us with that process. So those were some things that I think at different points, different ones of y'all have talked about. So anything else, y'all? Do you think those are things you would like to have on your agenda? Let me ask you that first. And are there other things you'd like to have on your agenda? And what staff would you like to have in attendance?
Well, I know, personally, I've had 1 or 2 come up with concerns about trying to work through the system. And if this might be a time that I could point some of those problems out, and some of them may have well been solved by now. And maybe we can kind of look at those things and see if there's anything that can be tweaked, or, like I said, I can go back and say, well, this has been solved at this point, and this is how it works now, and that might be a good time to brainstorm.
Okay, if you could give us some examples of working through the system,
What system?
yeah, what you mean by that?
Well, I have a friend who was trying to work through, and even now, we're concerned about helping people as far as applications to get into the system with the Medicare, Medicaid, all the hoops that you need to jump through, working through that maze of just what's expected. And, she shared with me some of the frustrations that she felt at the time that she was doing that. And I was thinking that this retreat time might be a good idea to maybe point those out, and then I can go back and tell her what's already been fixed, and maybe we can look at what needs to be fixed. And
Would it be, let me play with that a little bit and bring something back to the next board meeting to see how we could do that. Because I'm wondering if it might be interesting to see, Brian's back with us, to see if we could do
Is that my voice?
a paper application as the board individually and see how that might feel to all of you, to see what a client might go through for a Medicaid application. Just to kind of play with it and get a sense of what a client has to go through. And we bring somebody like Teresa or Margreta or somebody to just kind of think about that. Okay, we'll think about that and talk about it maybe for a few minutes. Yeah, or role play at the next meeting. Okay, so we'll think about that. Okay. Okay, anything else that y'all want to talk about?
Your redesign,
Huh?
your redesign,
I'll
your-
come some more on the redesign, okay?
just where you are.
Yeah.
And how it's working.
How much of that is done?
About a third. We're slowly moving. Got a couple of
So
kinks
you're gonna
moving.
give us an update?
We can give you an
in September.
update and in October.
In
That's
October.
that's when the retreat would be. Hope to be further along. Got a couple of financial kinks we're trying to work through right now, but yeah. Okay. So we can do that. Anything else? Anything you want to put on the agenda for the retreat?
No, I was just thinking about the reorganization.
Okay. One of the
That
things.
was the only
okay.
thing that's really in my,
One of the things we might want to talk about is reports that you all might want to start thinking about getting as a board, if there are any, because we've been kind of playing with that a little bit. So if you think of anything, I'll be working on something. Our new, as you will see when we get into the vacancy thing, we have our new human services planner coming on board. And I'm going to start working with them on reports, and if there's anything,
Medicare, Medicaid is
well, Medicare I can't help you with at all.
a,
not my
is
game.
a part of the system.
Yeah.
That's a part of the system.
Yeah.
That's a part of the system. And that's a part that you get confronted with. Because when seniors can't get what they need, and the children don't know how to get them to where they need, that's a problem for life.
It is.
And
It
that's
is.
where it concerns me. So you can't help with it,
Can't help with the Medicare part.
but I'm not talking about, I'm
Yeah.
talking about with a K then. Maybe I'm using the wrong word, maybe it's the Medicaid.
Yeah.
Whichever word it is that I just described,
Yeah.
that seniors are having health issues, and the children gotta know how to get them through whatever
Exactly.
it is.
Exactly.
And we provide the social services, so it would be good if you find out.
Let's
since
see
you-
what we can do on, because I think that might be kind of a fun activity, kind of
Because,
run
you know,
through some of that with
we
somebody.
are getting a little bit older these days, and there's more of us living a little longer than
We
maybe
are.
we used to.
We are.
And then we have to train our children to handle us
That's
while we still got a little sense to do it right.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly. We can work on that. Okay, so we've got an idea then, and I'll bring back maybe a draft
Yeah, okay.
agenda and some ideas later. Okay?
And we'll leave the staff to be involved, up to you,
Yeah,
based on what you
I'll work
end
on
up
that
with
based on
the
what we
agenda.
kind of finalize on the agenda for next, when we do the next month.
And when you mentioned other reports,
Mm-hmm.
I would really be interested to hear more about what goes on at the director meetings when you go monthly, to see how things are progressing as far as the state level.
That is hard, that would be hard for me to give you a report on. That would be really hard for me to give you a report on. Because one, I don't go to all those meetings.
Okay.
And reporting on that would just be really difficult to do. And we can talk about that separately, but I can, so, yeah. We can talk about that separately, okay? Okay.
Ball of wax.
But anyway, okay, but we got something going here, okay?
Then the next item is your report and
Okay.
the pieces, parts of it.
Okay. You have in front of you, I think it's on page 9, the vacancy report. you can see that we are slowly moving through vacancies. We are having to repost some things. We're having some difficulty in some positions getting them filled. As I said, effective August 31st, we will have our Human Services Planner come on board. Kevin Krischer will be joining us on that date. Comes with a significant amount of experience, so we're looking forward to having him. Our financial report. We still cannot give you the final revenue information for last year because primarily we've got to wait for all the audit information to come through and a variety of things like that, but we hope to have that for you next month. We can tell you what we have for this year thus far in revenues and expenditures. And so let me see if I can explain this report to you. Our revenues at this point, we have received $1,361,559 and change, which is 3.9% of available revenues. Well, we only spent 4.1% of our budget, and we should be at 8%. So basically, we cost the county $72,000 that wasn't reimbursed. So that was pretty good that we only cost the county $72,000 in the month of July. So that's generally what you're seeing here. We were reimbursed almost everything we spent this month.
And it's not that it was not reimbursed because it was a disallowed, because I saw Ginger start writing.
No.
It's just the reimbursements are always delayed.
Reimbursements. Well,
And you will operate ahead of your reimbursements.
and not everything we spend is reimbursable. Some of it the county has
Does
to
pay.
pay
That's
out of
right.
the county's pocket.
That's right.
So you try to maximize the reimbursements that are available to you. So we were most thrilled that we were able to pull down that much reimbursement. Some months we're not able to pull down that much
I
reimbursement.
didn't hear Dwayne squawking. I can
No,
tell you that.
I
He
would
didn't-
assure- I
he
would
didn't
think-
frown and
Yeah.
squirm.
No, some months we don't get that much reimbursement, so we were thrilled. Plus, it was good that we only spent 4.10% of the dollars that we were expected to spend this month.
Let me
we're-
ask you about these positions.
Yes, ma'am.
How many of those in-house?
You mean how many are we advertising in-house only?
No. How many that you hired were in-house?
Oh, well,
You say we'll
Pamela,
join, all of these are out-of-house.
okay, what I can say to you is Pamela Smith was already an employee of our agency. She was promoted from in-house.
Okay.
The rest were all advertised, and the people were employed externally. They were external hires
Three
came
new
in.
and one
Three
promotion.
new and one promotion.
Do you have any temporary staff at the Department of Social Service?
Right this minute, we have,
Temporary meaning temporary coming through a temporary agency.
no ma'am, we
That's
don't
what I
have
wanna
anyone
know.
coming through a temporary agency.
That's a issue with me.
Okay, we do not have anybody
Thank
coming
you.
through a
That- I
temporary
wanted
agency.
to ask
Well,
that
no,
question.
we do, actually. We do have 2 temporary social workers coming through a temporary agency that specializes in providing trained, because you have to have a certain amount of training with the state in order to actually work with children in child welfare. You have to go through the state's child welfare training program. So we have 2 part-time child welfare trained social workers that we have used before that come and go with us as
How
we
long
have.
have they been with us?
These 2 have been with us 6 months this time, something like that. Because we have about a 13.
Are they retirees or
I
young
don't
folks?
know. They're not young folks, but I don't know that they're
are they
retirees.
retirees?
One is a retiree, not from us, but they're
retired and then they come back to work. That's the kind of retirement.
One is retired from another county.
One is retired from another county. She does not want to work full-time, long-term, or any of that kind of thing.
I guess
I
she
do know
would.
she doesn't want to work full-time, long-term, because I've had
you
that
know where I'm
conversation
going.
with.
What my concern is that the temporary agency places so many people in local government, and then they work for 4, 5, 6 years. They don't have
Yeah.
benefits, and then their families are sure, or the individual suffers because of it. And that's something that I'm
Neither one of these
becoming
folks
cautious
wants,
of.
neither one of these folks wants a permanent full-time job, point A,
So you've talked with
is
them.
my understanding. And I can't, you know, and we
No, I
we have
ain't
a.
saying you
yeah,
do something
yeah,
out of the
yeah,
kilter,
no,
but
no.
I'm talking
Yeah,
about giving
yeah.
opportunity,
Yeah.
because the experience that they gain by working with the agency through temporary is worth having as a full-time,
Right.
rather than you work a person temporary all the time, and then
Yeah.
you reach
No,
over there
no,
and hire
no,
somebody
no,
else from
no,
another
no,
county,
no.
and you bring them. I would be really,
No, we're not doing that.
I'll use a good word.
This agency, the contract, I believe, reads that if they have worked with us for 3 months and a position becomes available that they are interested in, that at that point they can apply.
Right.
Okay,
So they have a 3-month time frame.
thank you so very much. That made me feel so good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is it through Vanguard?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So anyway, so
But you
that's
know
what
where
we're
I'm
doing.
coming from.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. I do.
Thank you.
So, okay, and that's sort of what's going on there. The next thing you have is where we are with our Medicaid applications, reviews, et cetera. And as you can see, I want you to look at my charts and graphs, folks. Look at that review chart and graph. The reviews due and the reviews completed hit each other. Is that not a good thing?
I tell you, I thought you got drunk.
I think that was a good thing.
I think it's excellent.
We had two. I
So
mean,
you really
we-
weren't
we
sleeping in the
bumped each
middle of the
other.
night and sleep overcame you.
No, we bumped each other. And the applications taken and processed are just looking, I mean, they're looking fabulous. And I have a handout that I will give you actually that it's the 5th, it was as of August the 5th, that shows you in fact, everything that was pending as of Friday, August the 5th. And, I'm sorry, Gwen, I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't need that.
It shows
I want
that
her to get what we got.
Susan's probably got it, I just didn't go this way. Okay. It shows us that our untimely food stamp applications, we had 14 as of Friday, August the 5th. We had 1 untimely food stamp review. We had 72 untimely Medicaid applications, which had us at 96% timely. We had 80 overdue food stamp reviews, which had us in really good shape. A total of 153 pending actions to be taken across all programs, which was outstanding. Well, this must be Gwen's. How did I do that?
You were trying to leave her out, that's what you were
I was trying to cheat, Gwen. I'm sorry.
I'm in a good mood. I had some chocolate cake before.
Oh,
I
well,
came.
good.
Brought some for all of
Yes, you should have. So anyway, we are doing great. The other thing I will say to you is that as of today, we have 1,561 reviews still to do in the month of August, which is, where we're supposed to be. I mean, so we're doing great.
Good, hard work.
They are doing great. They're doing great. So we are very pleased with this group. And we're not doing overtime anymore in income maintenance. Now, that does not mean we will never do overtime anymore in income maintenance, but we're not doing it right now. Don't need to. Staff are doing we're back into normal mode again. Granted, when the open enrollment comes again for the Affordable Care Act, we might have to go into overtime mode again, but that would be a short-term process. So
How long have you been here?
1 year as of July.
What's your assessment of staff morale since you've been here?
Well, now that we're not in overtime mode, I would like to believe that morale is going to be picking up. it's, there's gonna be ups and downs, but I would like to believe that the morale is picking up. Most folks I talk to are saying that it's great, but I know there are
They gonna
pockets.
tell you anything.
Well, can I just say, this might be a good time for me to put in that last week, I was very privileged to go visit Brian's, Mr. Everett's division across the river
Where
there.
a lot of this hard work has been
It's
done.
been done.
Yes, and he was so good to have pods of supervisors that we visited throughout the building. And they all seemed very positive and were upbeat, and I was just, when you think of the level and the amount of work that they're given and looking at this reorganization, everybody seemed to just be all hands on deck, and I met the new quality person.
Yeah.
Can't remember his
Thomas?
name. Yes. And they all just seemed to be willing to get in there and get their hands dirty and get the work done, and couldn't be more positive. Today, I was privileged to be with Margaret Dixon, and those people were in and out and busy doing what they needed to do, and they were all very positive and upbeat as well. And Margaret spoke with me some about the reorganization and how some of the one division's going to be split from 2 to 3 separate things, which will make it a little bit easier. And then I was just so lucky. I happened to be there when Susan Bullock was preparing to go to the Lynx reception, and that couldn't have been more of a privilege to see those children coming up and to even hear the keynote speaker, Quindell Jenkins, who has gone on to the Navy and come back and shared his success with those coming up and been willing to lend a helping hand up. All I can be is impressed with what seems to be going on at this point.
I see the light in your face.
Yes, indeed.
I think one of the things that we've done in the last 2 years, and Brian, do we need to get things any better over there for you all, like for the people who are working for their protection and so forth? We put the glass up and all this other stuff for their protection. Did we ever get the elevator? That was one of the problems at the end there.
Yes, the elevator is secured. We have to have a code to use the
You
elevator.
got that
So
set.
the
So you just
upstairs-
about got
yeah, we
everything.
are. We're in good shape now.
Yeah, but we can thank the manager, really, I'm not kidding you. They did a tremendous amount of work there, painting, putting up the wallpaper, what was down, it was a mess.
It's
And
getting
I
much
think-
better.
I think now that we've done all of that, the only thing that I did hear, and then I checked on that, Brian, is that you needed some more areas to park. Is that sufficient now? And I talked to the manager about that, by the way.
Well, the parking is tight, but it's okay. It's
Out
gonna
there on
have
the
to be
road now
expanded.
as well, when you're
yes.
overflowing, that's
Yes.
where they're parking.
That's correct. There are spaces there on the drive where that people can park and.
Right,
and
so now you
walk to the
think things are
building.
pretty good over there?
I think we're in good shape.
And I think the people that are working there, they should let the manager know that he is the man that took and did, he got them in there and they did that work. Did not hesitate,
That's right.
and that brought the morale that you're talking about. It brought it way up, believe me, because they were down in the dumps.
Y'all
They
made
do.
huge progress.
You
I
have.
think our morale is up because it says
Definitely.
final
Y'all have made
NC-FAS.
just, it's
That's-
unbelievable.
I'm very proud of the staff and the supervisors working together and what's been accomplished. And nobody's any more pleased than I.
We got Northwoods coming, we got the numbers down and meeting each other. Hey, it's terrific. Lot of progress.
It is. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, please, Margaret, Brian,
Right.
both of you carry it back to your staff.
Absolutely.
How much we appreciate everybody's hard work. Gwen.
I will. Thank you.
Working here is not an easy job.
No. Every day is fun, and not in a fun way.
When I say manager, I mean the county commissioners at the same time, because they're the ones that had to put the bill
Right, right.
on that.
Okay. The next thing I'm passing out is we say periodically we're gonna give you an overtime report, and we are gonna be paying down again. We've got about a little over 13% vacancy rate in services, and that clearly, amongst other things, is impacting our overtime in the services division. So to pay that down, it's gonna cost us a little over $45,000. Income maintenance, because of what we were trying to do to finish up and make that last push to get, the Medicaid taken care of, that overtime to pay that down is gonna cost us a little over $12,000. So, that will probably be done in the near future. So wanted you to be aware, that will be happening sometime in the near future. Services is always gonna be a challenge for us, especially when you're running a 13-14% vacancy rate, and the kinds of things that happen in child welfare is just gonna always be a challenge for us. But we work hard to try and work on that. But just an update for you to know what's going on there.
I have a question to ask. Is it possible, when we're given these different costs and coming out of the budget, to somehow give us a running total of what's left to work with? So that we can actually see, the spend down and what's left in the budget that we still have?
Can I sort of
Yeah, go for that.
From my past with the county, first, the magic to the 59 hours is employees aren't supposed to have more than 60 hours of comp time on the books. Some departments are funded and can pay their overtime as the employee works it. Another department, like social services, may have to comp it on the books, and then if at a point in their budget they have salary lag, which is how Jan is able to accomplish this, that 13-14% vacancy, some of that salary that's not being spent on an employee can then be used to fund some of the overtime. So there's really not a bucket that she's spending out of. It's a bucket that's created, unfortunately, by having vacancies where she's not got people in them. So, if you have an employee leave and they have 6 weeks of vacation on the books, you can't necessarily hire the next person for 6 weeks because you've already future paid. And so it's a sort of a moving target. But before the manager and Dwayne will approve them to pay down the overtime, they have to go out there and run the numbers to show that we have enough excess salary from our vacancies to be able to afford to do that pay down. But she doesn't have a flat budget number that she started with. It's a number that accrues during the year from an unfortunate vacancy situation. Does that make sense? So it's a little bit hard, I think, for Jan at any given time to know what that number is because of the way the vacancies create the capacity to pay down the overtime.
I just think it would be interesting not to, as you go through the year, right now, we're at the beginning of a new budget season, but as we get to the end, not to all of a sudden be desperate for funds and not realize how
And I think
close we are
that's
coming.
actually what she's starting to do with this information on page 9, because she's gonna give us a cumulative each month budget, revenue in, expenditures out, sort of where we are agency-wide.
Right. Plus Angela and I are tracking all the time. And we had already set down, I guess, about mid to late July and done some tracking and projecting based on what we knew to try and determine whether we could even do the reorganization, and had come up with over $100,000 that was projected in funding that was not going to be spent in salaries, what we call lap salary money, based on vacancies that were existing right that minute, and knowing that we were just in the first month of the year, okay? So we are constantly tracking those kinds of figures. Now, they might not be in that exact budget code because staff are budgeted in different lines based on who's paying their salary, which which whether it's Medicaid's paying their salary or food stamps is paying their salary or, some other funding code is paying their salary, but the money is in the overall budget. So we're constantly tracking that kind of thing because we do not want to risk the, shall I call it the ire of the county by not having money at the end of the year to to make sure we've met the budget requirements, because our goal is to give money back to the county.
And I'll just add also, there is a pretty good level of flexibility that we have for moving money between line items and between departments.
Thank you.
Okay, the last thing I passed down is the update on guardianship and what is going on in the state around guardianship. And Gwen, unfortunately, Susan's got yours too. I had shared this with Ms. Richard earlier because she had asked for an update. So these are some of the things that I know are going on at the state level, in the various meetings I've been in, and in the various feedback that I have gotten. So just a quick update for you to take a look at. So there is a lot of work going on. This is a big systems kind of issue. It's not something that's going to be quickly solved, but there is incremental work being done across the board to try and deal with what is just a huge issue everywhere. So,
Well, I'm glad to see that you've asked to be part of the sheriff's task force.
we've asked for the agency to be part of that,
I think
yes.
that's wonderful.
Yes, because I think we all have some of the same issues around serving those with mental health needs and need to be at the table. Our issues, we have slight differences, but we have enough of the same issues we need to be at the table. There's no need in having different discussions.
There is a real national concern about mental cases ending in jail.
And I realized, this is just my general report that I give to y'all every month, that I'm passing out. It's not anything we need to discuss, just the general report that I give. So that is the end of my spiel for this month. Anybody got any questions they want to ask me about what's going on?
A lot of good work's going on, that's for sure.
Thank you.
Any other issues to bring before the board?
And we don't have any more, Madam Chair, we resign. Close this meeting.
Retire.
Go home.
I move with adjourn.
There we go. So be it. Told you, we were gonna be out by 5 o'clock.
That's right, that was the goal, wasn't it? Thank y'all. Anybody got anything yeah, okay, here's that. Got your